10 Democrats side with Republicans to censure Representative Al Green because he told the truth. Here it is.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Restore order to the White House, to the voters, to the working family. All right, here we go. Republicans wasted no time to punish Representative Al Green, Texas Democrat, who decided to disrupt President Donald Trump's precious speech. GOP Rep Daniel Newhouse on Wednesday formally introduced a resolution against Representative Al Green, who was removed by the House Sergeant-at-Arms after standing up and shouting during the opening minutes of Trump's speech to Congress. Speaking on the House floor, Newhouse, a Washington state Republican, said he was seeking punishment against Green, a form of condemnation, once considered rare in the House chamber for his numerous interruptions of the president's speech. The House is expected to hold a vote Thursday, according to a GOP aide. House Democrats failed to block an effort to kill the proposed censure on Wednesday, paving the way for it to go forward. We got to read them out loud. Put up the 10 Democrats that did this treacherous thing and keep their names up. It is ironic that we were talking about another Representative Green who disrupted a president's speech, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And it's interesting how quickly we forget that democracy is about expression. Every single Democrat and unbought Republican, if there be one, should have stood up after Representative Al Green and did exactly what he did. So here are the 10 Democrats. Go ahead, primary them. Go. They're not ready for this. They're not ready for the kind of battle that we're in right now. They're just not ready for it. Ami Bera, Democrat, California. Ed Case, Democrat, Hawaii. Jim Costa, Democrat, California. Laura Gillen, Democrat, New York. Jim Himes, Democrat, Connecticut. Chrissy Houlihan, Democrat, Pennsylvania. Marcy Kaptur, Democrat, Ohio. Jared Muskowitz, Democrat, Florida. Marie Perez, Democrat, Washington. Tom Suzy, Democrat, New York. And that's 10. Republicans raced to introduce competing resolutions, trying to get on TV and everything else in order to say, hey, Mr. President, and all the news media, look what we did. Green said Wednesday he was not angry with the Speaker, officer of the House, members bringing resolutions. He told reporters, quote, "I will suffer the consequences." It sounds like leaders we looked up to for moral support and guidance during the civil rights era. They were willing to take unjust punishment in order to move the collective forward. All right. My thoughts.
Well, I think I'm going to veer a little bit away from your take on this, which is allowed, of course. But I think that the rules of the House and the unjust punishment, in a sense, this is what Green is saying. It's important that I did what I would do. He also clearly said he would do it again, but he realizes that it comes with what is really a just punishment by the House rules. If a member brings these kind of charges of censure for disrupting, as they did with Joe Wilson of South Carolina when President Obama was speaking, and from the back of the House, you heard Joe Wilson scream, "You lie." Well, Jim Himes of Connecticut, who voted to censure Representative Green today, said that he did it because he did it to Joe Wilson too. And the rules of the House are the rules of the House, but he associates himself with what Al Green is saying. So I think there is a little bit of nuance there, and I'm not trying to tiptoe around it, but the rules of the House, and there are some people that are concerned that it's going to go both ways, as it did with Joe Wilson. And your Marjorie Taylor Greene comment is true, although I don't recall the instance where she was. I think the part of the problem for members of the House was that the Speaker said stop, and he didn't stop, and he wouldn't stop. And good for Al Green for not doing that. He made his point, and he stole a lot of thunder from whatever it was that the president was saying, because he was talking about Medicare, and he was talking about things that are being stripped by this president. And that point, I think, goes on beyond this. Even Al Green went and shook Dan Newhouse's hand, the man who brought the censure resolution. Others were going to do it, but he got there first, and he said that he bears no animus toward the people that did it from his own party. There are House rules, and so I wouldn't jump to say we got to primary these people, but we do have to. I think the best thing that I heard you say, or maybe it was someone else, but that everybody else should have stood up, right? Everybody else should have made that same peaceful protest and gotten that point across to what the president was saying in the House the other night, that they punished Green in this way, which, I mean, censure may have been something in the 1800s. It doesn't really matter to most Americans today. That doesn't bother me as much.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. If you don't mind me saying, Michael.
That's what I just said you were, so you're entitled to say.
Yeah, there you go.
I won't censure you.
There you go. The 10 Democrats, I'm going to put them aside, then bring them back. Let me first highlight the reason why whatever punishment he receives is unjust. It's not because of the context of the rules. Remember, there were rules in this country that said Rosa Parks could not sit at the front of the bus. I mean, it was a rule.
Right. It was a law. I mean, right. it was a law. Yeah.
That's right.
Right. And the laws of the House are different than the laws of the streets.
Well, give me a moment. I will.
I'm sorry.
With this.
I'm sorry.
And in order to progress the collective, in order to move forward, freedom, justice, equality, equitable outcome, a higher order of morality and ethics and being had to be established. And so while, yes, technically the rules were broken, technically they could go to jail. Technically, they could be on probation. They could have their privileges suspended from participating in these activities in the city, riding the bus, voting, et cetera. So that's within the confines of the institution. But when the institution itself is horribly corrupt, the actions that you take are calculated based on the ethics that you hold core, right? So my point is, this is a different era. We're in a different stage of politics. You see what's happened. This is not the time, in my opinion, to throw up rules and act as if we are still in 1990. We're not. This is a different game. This individual is playing a dangerous game with the lives of the individuals who empowered you to be in Congress in the first place. And the only thing sacred now are the voters that put you there. And so I would argue that any punishment would be unjust because of his moral outrage, and everybody should be morally outraged by what happened. As far as the 10 Democrats, I don't think they're up for the kind of fight that's required to overcome this type of regime. Brother, this isn't a political party anymore. When have you ever seen a Republican president being able to do this and get complete cover from basically every Republican in the House? This is a cult in politics, brother.
No, I'm not arguing that at all. I'm basing my disagreement with you just on the constructs of the House and their rules, some of which are arcane, but some of which, if they weren't in place, would have this happen every single time somebody took to the well of the House or the Senate. So as foolish as they may seem on their surface, I'm glad that Green did what he did. I'm glad that he said he would do it again. I'm glad that he resisted. I'm glad that he also, when he said that he had bore no animus toward the speaker or the people that escorted him out.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah, no, he's a good man. But what I'm saying is he also knows, right? He voted present. He didn't vote against his own censure. He voted present rather than for or against. So I think we're probably on pretty close to the exact same page. Yeah. I just think that there's some people that look at the institution and the rules of the institution and see, like Jim Himes said today, that, I voted for censure against Joe Wilson, had to do it here. In order for us to get anywhere, we got to at least make sure it's not mayhem, basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You don't want to go down a slippery slope. Dear brother, the slope done slipped. We are already there. We're already there.
On substance, I couldn't agree with you more. And if the Democrats have a problem messaging, Al Green is the first person who has messaged. And he messaged in a way that was disruptive, it was peaceful, it was rhetorical, and he said he would do it again. So I think that is to me the biggest progress in 40 days of the Trump presidency, or however many it's been so far. The biggest progress we've seen in terms of messaging was done by Al Green on Tuesday night.
And that's the point. If we got 10 Democrats that won't break a damn rule for you, a rule, while the opposition party, they are breaking the law for their constituents. They're breaking the law. We got Democrats won't break a rule. It's not a fair playing field if you're not ready to play in this game of politics as it is today. That's just my point, brother. Damn, hell with all of them. I'm sticking with Al, brother. I'm sticking with Al. I don't give a damn.
I hear you. A lot of people are sticking with Al, and Al may be the one that prevails in the end anyway. So that's the good news. Yeah.